Oh snap! But it doesn't, right? This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. Yeah, we're up to the 5th edition of this folding phone from Samsung. And you know, in a way, they make the Fold 5, they make the Flip 5, and I think they've been more aggressive in making changes and updates and improvements to the Flip, and we're going to look at it now. So let's talk about the important changes instead of the many things that did stay the same, though to be fair with smartphones these days, whether they fold or not, the changes are often evolutionary more than revolutionary. But in this case, there's some important things here that got me excited about the Flip 5, even as a Flip 4 owner. The outer display, every generation seems to get a bit bigger, right? It started out as this teeny weeny thing, then it got to be a 1.9 inch kind of small thing, and now it has a cover display, 3.4 inches, it's like 720 by 748 pixels. Almost as big and almost as, it depends on what you want to call functional, as the Moto Razr Plus folding phone review. We reviewed that one. You can see that video as well. By the way, if you want to see a smackdown between those two phones, let me know in the comments. I can make that happen. Anyway, you actually have a large enough outer screen. When you think about the fact that it's 3.4 inches, right, and the original iPhone was a 3.5 inch screen, it's sort of like, wow, that bends your mind, right? So we can't complain too much about the size of this cover screen. Samsung did a good job with the widgets on this. They're usable. They're perhaps even more usable than Motorola's widgets. I like the calendar widget. You get a month view, you tap on it, you see an event, and you can tap on that event and it can tell you all the information without having to open the phone. You want to see the weather, you get all the information on the weather right there. They have a allow apps on cover screen thing in their advanced settings labs, you know, and don't get too excited because there's only like 4 or 5 apps that you can choose to put on there. YouTube, which to me would be one of the things I would least likely want to do on this outer screen, but you know, messages, a couple of things like that. But what they really want you to do, but they don't want you to do because they're making it a little hard, where's Waldo, to find out how to do this, is if you go to the Samsung App Store, because this is a Samsung phone, so you have duplicate apps. You have their Photos app and Google Apps. You have Play Store, and you have the Samsung Galaxy Store. Go to the Samsung Galaxy Store. Download GoodLock. It's a launcher. It's free. And then you download that and you hit the iHeart Folding Phones line inside of there, and then you have to download another module, okay? So it gets a little complicated, doesn't it? Will average normal people ever find this? Absolutely not, but that's why you watch YouTube videos, right? So you can find it. By the way, the name of the module is Multistar, and once you install that, then you can choose to run whatever app you like on the cover screen. And for the most part, it works. I mean, you know, keep your expectations in check. It's a small screen. But for example, my grocery shopping list, that I don't want to have to open my phone, honestly, to take a look at that, whip it out, take a look. Did I remember to get the milk, the egg, you know? You can do something like that. When I check in at the gym and they have the little barcode scanner that scans my app, I can do that without opening the phone. So that keeps the spirit of a folding phone. I mean, 2 reasons that you want one. One is it fits way more easily in your pocket, given the fact you have a 6.7 inch phone. It's like you're thinking Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus size phone, but it folds in half, goes in the pocket. That's nice. And the other thing is maybe it'll stop you from doom scrolling and staring at your phone so much. So if you can do the necessary things, just look at your text message, you know, that kind of thing. Log in for your gym, that stuff, without opening the phone, it reduces the tendency to get lost in your phone for an hour at a time. So there's big change number 1. Big change number 2 is the same thing we saw on the Galaxy Z Fold 5, which is they have a new hinge. So finally, instead of doing the wedgie where it closed like vaguely like a little bit like a triangle, it folds flat now. And the inner display does a kind of teardrop thing, so it can bulge into the innards there and maybe create a less strong bend. Hopefully that works. But anyway, folding flat's nice. That makes the phone a little bit thinner. It makes it harder for random pieces of junk in your pocket to get between the 2 halves of the display. Hopefully that will work. And Samsung, again, in the United States, now they know that these things can sometimes break. So for the first year, they have a thing going on. So you can get the entire screen replaced at a great discount compared to normal cost. And you can get a screen protector too, which is way easier to replace. It still has that thin plastic film on top. You can get that done too. The crease here, at first I thought maybe it was just my particular unit, but boy, it is pretty pronounced though, you know. It's more so than the Fold 5, more so than the Moto Razr Plus or the Google Pixel Fold. So Even I think slightly more than my Z Flip 4. I don't know. It's a real gully there, you know. If you were that kind of person who indulges in certain things, I could see you putting a line in there and saying that would be great. But don't do that because it's not dust resistant. This is only IPX8 water resistant. So keep it away from dust and other things. The last big new thing is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. So new year, new Snapdragon, more power efficient, a little bit better performance. The power efficiency and any thermal improvements are always welcome because the Flip series has always been more thermally challenged than the candy bar versions of Samsung phones because they're pretty darn thin, right? So that's nice too. Performance on this, I found it to be pretty good. I didn't notice any significant throttling playing games and things like that that normally would be a problem. Heat is pretty decent with Snapdragon processors, which is to say it's not going to burn your hand or something like that either, which is a plus versus the Google Tensor G2 CPU that tends to run a little bit hotter. Not that they're making this form factor a folding phone, they're only doing the book style foldable. Phone has 8 gigs of RAM, same as last year. You can get it with 256 or 512 gigs of storage, no micro SD card slot, as per usual with most phones these days. Supports 25-watt wire charging, 15-watt Qi charging, has reverse wireless charging, and you have a 3700 milliamp battery like last year. Like last year, battery life isn't one of this phone's claims to fame. It's just okay. I sometimes don't make it through the day with moderate use and I have to top it up during the day. Happily, there are many ways of charging it. Yeah, that's one of the prices you pay for a folding phone because there's not much space for all that stuff inside. Camera situation is the same as last year. So is the inner display resolution and aspect ratio and size. So you're looking at pretty much the same thing. It just gets brighter, that's all. So you have a main and ultra wide camera and they're decent enough. I mean, it's like an S23 camera, base S23 kind of situation there. They're fine. They're certainly very colorful because Samsung really amps the colors up and you might want to desaturate some of them, but it's a perfectly adequate camera. It's not a camera maven's camera, to be honest, but then you could get for $200 more the S23 Ultra phone to get a better camera, which is also a much bigger, heavier phone. So again, you want a compact phone, it's the price you pay. Inner selfie camera is fine, and as ever we have the flex mode so you can use the camera when you're holding it like a camcorder, you know, at an angle, or you can lay it on the desk 90-degree style for stability, or you're doing night shots, or you want to actually take somebody's photos. Pretty neat. It doesn't have to be in flex mode for that, but you can see what you're doing on the main screen and you can enable the cover screen viewfinder so that people can see what you're taking a picture of. So typically they make much better poses when they can see what they look like. Phone ships with Android 13. Of course, Android 14 is around the corner and you'll get that, and has One UI. You'll get 5 years of security updates for the phone, which is pretty good. And of course, it's an attractive looking phone. The straight sides make it easy to hold on to, which I like. The one thing I would say is it's a little less comfortable to hold than a curvy-sided phone like, say, the Moto Razr Plus, but all in all, the look of the phone is quite nice. The variety of colors it's available in is charming too, but you know, Samsung has always thought of this as a fashion-forward kind of device, right? So, not that Samsung has a super lot of competition in the flip style phone thing here, but it's still a lovely product. And I think the one thing, or two things it really needed, number one, folding flat and being a little bit thinner, and having a much more functional outer display, at least are here. I mean, yeah, they make you jump through some hoops to actually run whatever app it is you want on the cover screen, but you can do it at least. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos, and thumbs up if you like this vid.